I guess the most compelling innovation in undergraduate learning that I've seen is having students take on a collective design challenge. So they are actually going to create something new, something that doesn't exist in the world today, a design for which they use their disciplines. So they're very varied, but the students work together and they have shared responsibility for getting to that goal. So they're each reading, but they're not, as in a normal course, reading about that and having discourse about that text. They're reading the text to get ideas, to figure out how to make an advance, how to use knowledge for public good. Well, one innovation is I think that using knowledge creating organizations as models for what we might expect of the 21st century. So, education grew up with this kind of notion that we've had with us for so many years that the job of education is to take knowledge that exists in the world, our cultural heritage, and pass it on to the next generation of students. Knowledge creating organizations actually assume that they are going to make something better, that they are going to innovate, that they're going to design. And bringing some of that design mode to education and reconstructing our classrooms as knowledge creating organizations, I think is one thing we could do right now and would have powerful consequences. And fitting with that is this kind of notion that self-assessment, these organizations try to determine, are we advancing? Are we getting anywhere? Oh, I think we're stuck. We haven't actually created anything of consequence. So they use internal adjustment mechanisms, and I think that having students engaged in self-assessment, using portfolios of their contributions, portfolios that convey not just what they're doing, but what they are doing working with other people. I think that's something we could do right now and very easily. And another thing that assessment tends to always look at how the individual is doing, and so we tend to think always of grades for an individual. It's becoming increasingly easy as students are working in these combined online and face-to-face environments to pick up the discourse, get images, or not images, but semantic profiles of the growth of ideas. But then you can look at how we as a community are advancing. So redesigning our analytic tools to get some sense of, what have we done of late that has any consequence? And if you haven't done anything, knowing that is really good, because then you can start over and do whatever you need to do. So I guess my last one would be starting to think of new analytic tools that are look at group processes and where students can be engaged in self and group assessment of how they're advancing knowledge to have some effect on society.